There are certain things in life you just have to do if you know what the outcome is likely to be or probably going to be. And putting money into a category where it can increase in value, I call it positive spending and negative spending. 95% of the things we spend money on today will have absolutely zero financial value within a year.
Now,
Probably.
wait a minute. I got to ask about that because I heard you say that on another presentation that you made, and I was thinking, does that 95% include the food they eat and everything that they might buy to
Yes.
survive?
Yes.
So that's one reason it's so much is because they need it to survive.
Well, I would make a distinction here, as I do in the book, between needs and wants. And that's something psychologists have spent a lot of time thinking about, and everybody should think about it because it's important. Uh, you get off work and you're thirsty and you need a beer, so you go get a beer. Well, if you're thirsty, you don't need a beer. You may want a beer. And maybe you should have a beer. Maybe that's part of what causes you to slow down and be comfortable. This book is not about doing without, but it's about taking the time to think about the difference between wants and needs. How badly does somebody really need a second latte a day? Probably not at all. They probably could be very comfortable if they had something else, maybe a cup of coffee with a little cream in it for a third the price. But that whole distinction between wants and needs is something everybody can take the time to think about. Abraham Maslow, the psychologist back in the 40s, wrote a paper. It was called Understanding Human Motivation. And in that study, he put together a pyramid of needs, starting at the bottom with what he called the physiological needs that we have and working up from that. The physiological needs are, we need water, we need air. We can't live very long without air. We not only need it, we want it badly. And as you move up, then you get up to we need friends, we need companionship. Those are psychological needs that we have that aren't quite as essential as water and food or lodging. And we need safety. That's moving up on this pyramid. But you get up to the third level and you have this area of self-esteem. And that's a huge need that we as people have. But it's a need that left unchecked can be the cause of enormous spillage, because we have such a need for self-esteem that we spill money on things that will enhance our self-esteem needlessly. We probably don't need a new car every year. We may want one. We may want to park it out in front of our house so our neighbors can see it, because that's going to cause them to think, oh, these guys are really successful. They must be really wealthy. Well, we have a need to appear financially secure, and we allow that need to appear financially secure to drown out our greater need to be financially secure. That money that goes into an investment account and stays there for an extended period of time, that's money that we will need in the future. Nobody sees it. Nobody knows about it. We probably shouldn't talk about it because it's not seemly to talk about all the money we've accumulated, but we need to be doing it. But if you allow your self-esteem to drive your motivation and you do things that showcase what you think is wealth, but maybe is just a pyramid of debt, you can allow that self-esteem to cause you to spill an awful lot. So going through that list of needs and then your own list of wants, and striking off of that list of wants, some of the things that you want, but you don't have to have immediately. Maybe you want them and you can put them off for a year or two while you park some money to be able to pay for them in cash. But that spillage and filling wants, needs is important.